I'm Ed Bighead, and I'm on the Brute Squad. Today we're going to be conducting a second interview with La Lengua. And we just finished a 2-game series with the Dodgers. We've had game 1 against the Washington Nationals yesterday. We all know what happened there. But we're going to get this La Lengua interview in anyways, and you can catch it on the Beer Cap.
One.
Hey guys, this is Ed Bighead again, and I am on the Brute Squad. This is with azsnakebit.com and the Brute Squad. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We're here once again with La Lengua, our favorite Dodger fan in the whole entire world. So this is going to be his second interview here, so let's get right into it. The Dodgers split the series against us one game each. The Dodgers have kind of been a thorn in the Diamondbacks' side. However, I want to talk about how Souza slid hard into Muncy at third base and the Dodger dugout started barking. What do you think about that? Was Souza wrong?
No, I don't think he was wrong. I mean, you got to slide in hard wherever you're sliding into.
Now, he was barking at, or the Dodger dugout was barking at Souza. Souza was barking back and kind of implying that Utley is a dirty slider and they should just shut up. So do you think that the Dodgers should be barking at Souza, or is that they're just protecting their teammate?
I mean, anyone's going to bark back on a hard slide like that, whether it's vice versa or just any team in general. I mean, you have to have your teammates back regardless.
I agree. So in Game 2, Nick Ahmed had the inside the park home run. Kike Hernandez in center field. How come Kike didn't get that ball? And why did he crash into the wall like that? It didn't even seem like he saw the wall.
Right? I mean, I don't feel like he should be playing the outfield, let alone center field. I think Taylor should be moved to the outfield and Kike come into the infield. It would make for a better outfield. But he didn't even, most outfielders try to stick their arm out to see how close they're getting to the wall. He didn't do that at all. It was pretty funny, but it is what it is.
So Taylor, what position does he play?
I would rather have him at. I've seen him play short.
Okay.
And I'd rather have him in center field. So, I mean, they can flip him and Kike.
Yeah, because Kiki's a natural infielder.
Yeah, he's a natural infielder.
He's like our Chris Owings, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So in that play, you see Puig running from nowhere from right field to intercept the ball that's kind of just bouncing there on the ground. That was the fastest that I've ever seen Puig run. Were you impressed with that?
No, I mean, you guys don't really watch Dodger games as much as I do, but that's pretty much when his hustle's out there, it's out there. I'm surprised he didn't throw him out at home. I was expecting him to be thrown out at home, but the throw was just a little too late.
It was very close, and that was a good play at home. Good for Puig on that. Back to Utley. He's a polarizing figure. You either like him or you don't. He slid hard into Ahmed about a week or so back, but I'm more interested in his batting stance, where he is at the plate. This is how Turner was injured. Utley stands on the plate and wants to get hit. It's part of his repertoire. Are you worried about that with him or any other Dodger standing so close to the plate?
I mean, no, especially with Utley. I mean, he's a good second baseman and all, but he doesn't have the same impact that Turner has. Unlucky for Turner, had his wrist broken in spring training, which has set his back a few. But as far as sitting close to the plate, I mean, the greatest of all time has done it, and that's Barry Bonds, who holds the home run record.
So with the barking back and forth and our kind of maturing rivalry between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, are we going to have a brawl this season?
That'd be fun. It'd be fun to see. Just like when they had that brawl when they, I believe they hit Greinke.
We hit Greinke and Puig.
And then Mark McGwire was our batting coach at the time. That was good times there.
Mark McGwire was literally trying to choke the shit out of everybody.
Right? It's like the roids were still in him from back in the day.
I remember the picture of Matt Williams kind of holding Mark McGwire, and only Matt Williams, I think, on the Diamondbacks at the time could hold Mark McGwire back.
Right.
They kind of came up in the same area. They probably both had their PED issues, and they both like to rage a lot, so that was kind of cool to see. That was an excellent brawl. One of the top 10s in baseball, I would say.
At least.
So do you think Dave Roberts, who's come out in the media a few times saying this is our night, this is where we turn it around, he's actually said a few nice things about the Diamondbacks, how we're thirsty and we're fighting to stay in first place. He's been saying a lot of things like that. Is he stuck in a corner right now? Is he trying to use his words to get his team out of this slump?
I mean, that's all he can do, right? I mean, he can't go out there and swing the bat. I mean, as much as I would like to see him out there maybe stealing a couple bases for us, he can't do that anymore. The best thing he can do is use his words to motivate the players. and see how it goes from there.
Have you ever personally referred to the Los Angeles' bullpen as the blowpen?
No, I have not, and I did not know that originally.
Do you think that they suck?
They've had their struggles. It seems like we got the bug that the Diamondbacks had last season with our bullpen, but we'll see how it goes the rest of the season.
I would harken back to the 2016 season with the Diamondbacks. Our bullpen last year was actually pretty decent. Tell us about the rest of the pitching. When do you expect Kershaw to come back? And are you concerned that his latest injury was the cause of his early season shit show?
I mean, that's what they'd like you to think. But honestly, he's an ace. Hopefully he comes back sooner than later, but it seems like recently he's been like just plagued with injury. As much as I'd hate to say this, I'd like to, hopefully we can get something for him, maybe trade him off. As much as I'd like him to retire a Dodger, I feel like his injuries are just being too occurring too many times.
What would you like to get for him in return in a trade?
Oh man, I mean, honestly, I don't know. You probably get some good. I mean, you can probably trade him for some decent pitching, maybe 3 decent pitchers, and a good batter. He's worth whatever they would trade him for. But honestly, who knows what the market is on him as far as what they would give us back in return.
Are you worried at all about Hill? He gave up 3 home runs in 4 innings in the first game of the 2-game series that we just recently played in. That was his first game since he returned from his blister injury.
I mean, no, it is what it is. You can't be perfect all season long. Hopefully he bounces back from that. He does have a lot of passion in him, so he'll bounce back. I have no worries on him.
And Ryu is out with a bad groin injury and isn't expected to return until the All-Star break. Do you really think that that's going to happen?
You know, groin injuries are very you can't really tell. Hopefully he bounces back after the All-Star break. He started off really strong, and hopefully he can finish strong.
I, for one, want to say that I'm glad that we don't have to fucking play you guys until late August because, I mean, it seemed like the entire beginning of the season's been Diamondbacks, Dodgers. How many series have we played now? 3 or 4 now?
Yeah, I mean, the first series you guys took, and after that it seems like we've just been splitting them.
Right.
Which, that's pretty good for us.
Considering Diamondbacks haven't lost a series yet.
Yeah, so
we've been
you
splitting.
guys had that 9-game series, and we split the series to make it before you guys can make it a 10-game series.
Recently, Dave Roberts benched Cody Bellinger for not hustling, turning a double into a triple. What do you think about that? Should Bellinger have been benched during that?
I mean, no. I wouldn't have benched him. But yet again, I'm not getting paid the big bucks. As far as Roberts doing that, I totally disagree with it. I mean, you're down so much. I mean, you can stretch it out to get a triple, but I say he gets thrown out at third. The outfield of the Giants isn't terrible. So they have good arms out there, and staying at second was, I think, a smart decision. A decision maybe a veteran would make, not so much as a rookie coming out on a second season.
Right.
Any rookie would probably try to make it a triple.
Would Puig have gone to third?
I mean, I expect Puig to make it to third, but that's a different breed.
Yeah.
Cody is not. You can't. I mean, they're not even in the same category. Cody's a rookie still. I mean, I know it's his second season. But Puig is just an animal.
Did you like Adrian Gonzalez, and how do you feel about the way he left the team in the postseason last year?
I mean, being a Mexican-American, of course, I liked Adrian Gonzalez. You kind of have to, right? But as far as how he left the team, I mean, I would feel salty, too, being a veteran and then getting stood out by a rookie and not getting any playing time. I mean, who wouldn't feel...
And that was Bellinger, right?
Yeah, Bellinger. Who wouldn't feel salty? But as far as what he did, I mean, he had to do what he had to do. If they weren't going to play him, what's the point of him being there? There's other veterans there too,
right,
that can make that impact. I mean, ever since he had his shoulder surgery back in Boston, he hasn't been the same player. Home runs declined dramatically, so it is what it is.
So, going back to first baseman and the first baseman for the Diamondbacks, Paul Goldschmidt, how would you as a manager, if you managed Paul Goldschmidt, respond to his ongoing struggles at the plate? Right now he's batting low 200s, 217, 220.
I mean, all you can really do is let him be Goldie. I mean, Goldie's Goldie. He's going to pull it around. Maybe I would have him take it back to the basics, maybe do some tee work and some soft toss to get his eyes going because he's missing the fastball.
He is.
Live pitching for sure, just maybe focus mainly on the fastball because that's what he's really missing.
Would you move him up to the front of the order like some of the teams are doing, the Cubs and the Nationals with Bryant and Rizzo?
I think he's cool where he's at, but as far as moving him up, I noticed that the Yankees have been doing it too with John Carlos and Judge. It may give him more fastballs to look at, which he needs to. And first, most pitchers are going to pitch first pitch strikes with the 1, 2, 3 batters instead of the 6, 7, 8 batters. So yeah, I mean it wouldn't hurt, but I'll just let Goldie be Goldie.
Would you maybe, and I'm going to throw this out there because I think that he should do this to try and get his eyes going with the contact again, maybe throw out a couple of bunts there? Just to make contact with the ball?
You know what, that doesn't sound like a bad idea, but I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, that does sound like a good idea, but I mean, it's just going to get him to see the ball. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be bad, but I don't think it'd be something Goldie would probably be.
Have to be the right situation.
Yeah. You can't just go out there, if he's leading off and have him drop a bunt, I mean, it's probably just going to get him thrown out at first.
Tell us one baseball player currently that you just hate and want to punch in the mouth.
Buster Posey for sure. I mean, because of him, we have that Buster Posey rule, which is terrible.
Right.
I mean, it takes away from the game. As much as I love the game, that's one of the rules that I hate and I would get rid of. If you go back, one of my favorite players is Pete Rose, and even in the All-Star game, he ran over the catcher, which I forget his name. It is what it is. That's just part of the game. I mean, that's one of the key things that I liked about the game. But it's one small rule. I can get over it, but I just don't fucking like Posey.
Fuck the Giants, right?
Right, fuck them.
So, speaking of old school baseball, you don't like that new rule, but what are your thoughts on the shift? Last night the shift kind of sealed the deal for the Diamondbacks. Adams beat the shift and they scored the winning run. What are your thoughts on the shift?
I mean, it all has to do with that, with the numbers now. Most teams are going based off the numbers and scouting reports. If you look at Jeter's career hits, they're scattered all over the place, so you can't really do a shift on them. Right. Most players now are either pull hitters, for sure, or there's very few that'll take it to the other side. So, I mean, it's good for baseball as far as the players, but I mean, kind of sucks for us watching. Cause
I feel like most of the time when I'm watching the shift, it works out in their favor,
yeah.
But, then you lose a game because a guy hits one into this massive hole that's
right.
there, so.
I think it was, I'm not sure, who was it? I've seen bunts go over to third base.
Yeah, and there's nobody up there.
And there's nobody
and the
up
pitcher's
there.
not fast enough.
Yeah, there's no way. So
and doesn't know what to do.
Exactly.
So back to the Dodgers. The toilets at Chavez Ravine are having problems. It's been in the news. Is the pitching coach also the plumbing contractor at Chavez Ravine?
Well, I mean, I hope not.
Is it Kershaw in disguise, maybe? He's got on the janitor's uniform.
If he is, then I'd love to be a fucking plumber because this fucking pay is amazing.
LA, are they going to go after Manny Machado?
Man, funny you say that. Beginning of the season, we argued, my brother and I, about getting rid of Seager and Peterson to trade for Manny Machado. I thought he was fucking crazy. But you know what? After looking at Machado's numbers, even though he's been in the league 5 years longer than Seager, I mean, he's someone you'd want to have in your lineup. Mm-hmm. And besides, Baltimore doesn't pay their players like other franchises.
I know one of the Snake Pitters, Turenbar, who does our beer caps. This will be on the beer cap tonight, by the way. He was harping at me the entire offseason. Let's go and get Machado. Let's go and get Machado. And I personally didn't want him. I feel like Jake Lamb is doing a decent job, but obviously he's injured now. Would you then go straight up trade Kershaw for Machado?
I mean, I don't think it'd be an even trade. Kershaw's value is too much, even though he has been somewhat of injury prone, like I said earlier. Yeah, I don't think that'd be a fair trade just to them 1 for 1. But yeah, I don't think that'd be a good trade.
I'm pretty sure the Orioles are looking to get some prospects back from Machado anyway. So, would you rather have Harper or Machado?
I mean, my outfield's stacked already. It's very stacked. Harper, I love the kid. There's nothing wrong with him. But I'd rather have Machado, make our infield stronger, and go from there. Is
Kemp going to stay hot all season? He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball, has one of the highest batting averages in baseball. Is he going to stay hot all season, or is he going to fall to injury?
I mean, hopefully he stays hot most of the season. Hopefully he gets away from the injury. we'll see what happens. But I'm glad he's back with the Dodgers. Like I stated before, he should have stayed with the Dodgers, and Ethier should have went to the Padres.
Right now, the Diamondbacks are, and I'm going to have to adjust these figures here, are 8 out of 12. We've won 8 out of 12 games against the Dodgers. Are you our rival this season? Are we going to have this type of trouble with you for the rest of the season? Maybe you beat us in a series, or are the Diamondbacks going to continue to dominate?
I mean, I feel like a rivalry has to start when like you're in the playoff constantly facing one another, and that's why our rivalry with the Giants is amazing.
Right.
We've just started facing you guys in the playoffs and started making noise with you guys as our opposite side.
Right.
But as far as this season goes, I hope it gets better and maybe we split more series. But I hope the Dodgers start taking them.
And the way that I speak of rivalry is, when I go to the games, especially when the Dodgers are down, there's a lot of Dodger fans there. So to me, it's more of a fan-to-fan rivalry. Obviously, Dodgers have a longer history than Diamondbacks, but that's what I mean by rivalry. There's so many of you guys there. You guys are talking shit. We're talking shit. You guys try and take over the place. That's what I talk about rivalry. So.
Yeah, as far as that, I mean, it's for sure. I mean, whenever any major team comes in here to Arizona and plays the Diamondbacks,
Right.
whether it be the Cubs, the Dodgers, you see more of the opposite team's fans there.
Mm-hmm.
And, that does make it for an exciting day because you have, whether it be old men talking shit to one another, children talking shit to men, women talking shit to men, vice versa. It's always fun. It's better than just sitting there and eating some peanuts.
So speaking about that, when we had talked earlier, you had discussed how you almost gotten thrown out of the Diamondbacks Houston game. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How did you almost get kicked out?
Well, one too many beers, and then also where I was sitting at behind home plate. Like I stated in the first interview, it's kind of hard to be yourself in that area when there's a lot of rich folk there. So yeah, one too many Elysium space dust. Hopefully they hear or watch our interview and they promote us and we can show their beer off on our interviews.
But specifically, an usher came and tapped you on the shoulder.
Yes, specifically someone came down. He didn't say shut the fuck up, but that was his intention.
Right.
He had told me if I come back down again, you're gonna be out of the game.
But you weren't even heckling the Diamondbacks.
Exactly. I was heckling the Astros. I think it was Correa that was up to bat, and then I was just talking shit to him. Usually I don't curse when I'm heckling, but the beer got the best of me, and I'm pretty sure people have had that happen to them before.
Right. We remember our first beers. Okay, so let's keep moving here. I'm going to ask you some questions that were submitted on the Snake Pit. I apologize to those of you who are watching, and this is your question. I don't remember exactly the usernames. I know Diamond Hacks had a question, and a couple of the other regulars on the Snake Pit. So if this is your question, I credit it to you, but I apologize that I'm not using your username. What changes La Lengua to the game in general do you appreciate seeing? For example, safety nets, mound visits, limitations, challenges, time restrictions. What do you like seeing with these new changes?
I love the challenges. I mean, that makes for trying to get the game perfect as far as like getting everything right. It does help a lot. I'm just glad they only limit them to a certain amount of challenges, because if not, we'd be there all day.
Right, and you can't challenge balls and strikes.
Yes,
you
that's
just get thrown
perfect.
the fuck
I
out.
feel like at one point they'll get something to make it so we won't have to be like getting 3 inches off the plate called strikes.
Right.
I mean, even though it'll take away from framing a pitch, but I mean, you got to get it right.
Right. And maybe Buster Posey won't have a job, or Yadier Molina, if he
Right.
can't frame and pitch anymore.
Exactly.
Speaking of Yadier Molina, did you hear the news that he has now a bulletproof cup? The Cardinals bought him a tactical bulletproof cup from a bulletproof cup company. What do you think about that?
I think that's awesome. I mean, it did look like it hurt really bad, but
He
yeah.
had to have surgery. He's gonna be out for a
Oh
month.
shit! See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Haven't been following much on Yadier, even though he's probably the greatest catcher, or one of the greatest catchers of all time. But hey, that's pretty cool that they got him a bulletproof cup.
But that won't help him if he gets punched in the face,
Yeah, that's true.
which I want to do because he assaulted our manager Torrey earlier in the season.
I thought that was awesome, man. It looked like fun. I mean, I wouldn't let no one talk shit to me
Mhm.
either. As far as if I was a catcher in the major leagues, I mean, my craft is my craft, and what he did was frame a pitch really well.
He did. He
And
did.
you can't insult the guy from doing that.
Yeah, he did. But also, you can't assault somebody just because
That's
they
so
called you a
true.
motherfucker. So.
That's so true. But I mean, in our culture, that's like not something you would do something to someone for. But in the Hispanic culture, it's totally different. I mean, you're not gonna go up to someone and expect them not to do nothing.
Right.
So I get where he's coming from, but it is what it is.
What's better, a pitcher's duel or a slugfest?
I mean, America likes to see a slugfest. I mean, who wouldn't like to see a home runs going left and right? But as far as pitching, I'm in favor of a pitching duel. It's just like a chess match. I mean, what I like to do is guess the next pitch coming up, but it's so rare to get that pitching duel and to see pitchers go in deep innings with maybe 1 or 2 hits and no runs earned. That's something that is very interesting to watch, and I like that better than a slugfest.
So speaking of slugfest, who's going to come out on top on the American League East, the Yankees or the Red Sox?
That's a tough one, man.
Or is there going to be a surprise Blue Jays?
I don't think the Blue Jays will pull through, but if Boston and the Yankees stay hot, I mean, I don't think Houston has a chance. I mean, they barely snuck by the Yankees last year.
Well, it's not often teams win the World Series 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they'll make it to the American League Championship game.
Yeah.
As far as who's gonna see them there, it'll be a tough one, but I think it's a toss between the Yankees and the Sox.
The Brood Squad officially supports the Red Sox, as there are Red Sox fans in the Brood Squad that are also loyal Diamondbacks fans and also fuck the Yankees.
Oh man.
So in baseball, is baseball still America's pastime, or has the NFL taken over?
I mean, I think the NFL is close to taking over. I mean, most people don't like you talk to someone out and about and you ask them if they watch the game.
Yeah.
Most people don't like watching it from home. They
Yeah.
rather be at the stadium. And if you look at here if you go to a very small team, so as far as like, let's say the Reds or whatever, there's not that many fans out there. You get more fans when it's like a top team coming out.
Right. The Browns are probably still selling out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, then again, you only have it's a 16-week season
Right.
for the
It's
NFL.
only once a week you get to see them.
Here we have 162 games, which I'm in love with. That's perfectly fine. But your average fan would not be there that many games.
So then what else needs to change in baseball in order to keep the fans' interest?
I mean, well, in the Mexican League, they have cheerleaders. I've gone down to Tijuana and watched the Toros play, and they have cheerleaders dancing on top of the dugout. That would be nice to see at Chase Field, But, I'm not sure that. Hopefully that wouldn't make it change as much, and shortening the season wouldn't be a cool thing either.
So a game earlier at Chase Field only hosted 17,562 fans, and it was a Dodgers game, as opposed to in 2016, 2015, there was over 20,000 fans there. A lot of the Dodger fans come to our field, we understand that. Are they starting to hop off the bandwagon and show up less?
I mean, I used to be a season ticket holder for the Diamondbacks, but last season it didn't make sense to have all your key games on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays.
Right.
I mean, it's hard for me to make it to those games, which I would love to, but I mean, I got to work in the morning.
Right.
It would be nice if they had their top teams on the weekend again, but I mean, if they had the Padres Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it'd probably be like 7,000, 10,000 people at the game.
So we're going to close this interview out here with one last question. Tonight it's Harvey versus Maeda. Reds versus Dodgers in LA. Last night you lost against the Reds. I was really surprised. I thought you guys were going to roll over them, but you didn't. Harvey from the Mets is coming over to the Reds, and he's going to face Maeda tonight. What do you predict?
I have faith in Maeda. I mean, he's a really good pitcher, but let's see what happens. Hopefully it's a pitcher's duel and I get to watch that. But hopefully my Dodgers pull through and we continue on from there.
Lots of people on the internet are predicting Harvey throws a no-hitter or a perfect game only because they feel history has shown when some of these hot-headed pitchers get traded in such a way that Harvey did after having a terrible start to the season or even a terrible time in his career with supposed alcoholism and partying. A lot of people on the internet are predicting Harvey has a good start tonight. You think that's going to happen?
Well, shit, if he's partying hard, I don't think it's going to happen. But, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think he'll no-hit my Dodgers, but, hey, that would be for good baseball.
All right, so this is La Lengua. This was the second interview of the year. We appreciate him being here. I am Ed Bighead. I am on the Brute Squad. You can find this interview on azsnakebit.com. Tonight's Beer Cap, hosted by Turn Bar. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/azbrutsquad. Find us on Instagram. We're also on YouTube. Thank you, La Lengua.
Thank you.